Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Culture Show. Considering doing well, having a wonderful day on this. Oh, I forgot to do something on this 22nd July 2025. I am such in a good mood today because it's a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful day inside. We did a lot today, and that's not even without this. This is not even counting making videos because this is technically speaking my first video. We worked today, so I couldn't do anything. However, we are playing a tower, and this is kind of nerve-wracking because you're gonna see here. Okay, that's where 2,600, and my life is going down pretty quickly. So I'm gonna have to pay attention to this a little bit more than usual, and that's pretty much why I'm gonna be looking somewhere else. Also, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna have to start doing this more often because I've noticed that in the video I seem to be looking down. The reason why I seem to be looking down is because the videos are filming below. So there's a split screen, the camera's on top, the camera is below. I have to switch them. That's good, that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna be checking out, since this is my first video, I have to check it out. Endermine's our smart missile. We don't have to wait for him, he's another good guild. Okay, check, clean up a list of weapons since all profile mentioned they were part of a guild now. Look, all regular card, cleaned up list. Okay, perfect. Unlock all regular card at 2,000. Okay, so perfect, nice. Okay, nice. So the member that we were supposed to get is part of another guild, so fuck us, and that's pretty much it. Yes. So that being said, today's video is actually kind of emotional for me. This is kind of like a weird one to do, and the video is called "Why Do We Talk Fast?" It's a lot of I've been getting a lot of messages lately. I receive comments on YouTube and I receive comments on TikTok. And I talk fast my whole life. People have been saying to me that you're talking fast, right? So before we even start the videos, I have to do something. Hi, my name is isnt, and I have a speech impediment. Okay, cool. So just as a figure of speech, because again, I used to find it very annoying. Now I understand that, people are like, oh, dude, I want to understand you, but it's annoying because I can't, right? I understand that. It took me a while though to understand that, you know what I mean? But there's a good reason for it. So I hope you guys understand that we've been making content for a while, but even then, we didn't start making content when I didn't start stuttering or talking fast or having the speech impediments. As soon as we start making content, right? It was way before. I forgot to do something important. Shit. This is what happens when you do everything at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna do, I think I'm gonna do this right now. Yeah, we've been speaking fast since I was a kid. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a freaking shrinks. He said, "Shrink, I do not know why my son speaks so fast, it's bothering me and the neighborhood." So yeah, technically it didn't happen like that. It was a lot less musical, but hey, I'm romancing something which is a trauma of mine. So we've been having speech impediments since I'm a young little guy. Now, arguably speaking, I'm 5'4", so still a young little guy. Now the young part, I'm gonna have you guys please give that to me, right? I had a hard life. My parents got divorced, right? 25 years ago. So yeah, I'm in a really good mood today. Like the world, I feel like and it's weird, the world is mine. You know what I mean? I get that emotion. Now we're almost done. So all of this was bullshit just to get some time to talk to you guys so we could do something in the background, which is gonna be done in 3, 2, 1. And it started. When I was a young boy. If you don't know what this song is, it is My Chemical Romance. Today we lost somebody that was very important. We lost Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, so I'll be doing a little video for him after that. So yeah, since I was a very young kid, I had speech impediment. Now, there's a couple of reasons as to why. I had a lot of chemical imbalance as a child, which is the cause of my ADHD. Okay, we can agree on that. Cool. So ADHD came in multiple form. One of the first form it came in is the need to move, right? So when I was at school, most of the time I was under medication. So Ritalin, Concerta, right? And these were regulator, right? So then I could talk normally, but at the same time there was so much of I'm not gonna say the word because it's disgusting, but I didn't feel like myself. I felt like a zombie, and I didn't feel like talking. So I could talk normally, but I didn't want to talk. Right? So that was the first problem. And then, as a kid, my only socializing was at school. But at school, I had to take medication for my ADHD. Right? So fast forward a couple of years, and I'm not too good at talking. And I talked to my parents, but and they saw me grow, right? So yeah, so since I was a young kid, people say, "Hey, you speak fast." My mom is speaking fast. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and of course, it's like, and the craziest thing is, it's like a mourning at least. There's 5 stages of grief, right? Because I want to talk in life. I'm a storyteller, but I can't tell a story if I talk too fast, right? There's a grief, the anger. I would get angry for people telling me you speak too fast, right? There was bargaining. Well, can we try again? There was acceptance. I know I speak too fast, so because I know I speak too fast, I'm not gonna speak at all. Then it was lethargy, which is I wish I was talking to you guys, but I can't because I talk too fast. And then there was the one last. I never remember the 5th stage of grief, but it was that, right? I start texting a lot, right? And with the texting, I had a way to communicate, and I didn't have to talk. So I even went to see some speech therapists. I even did some speech training, right? Because that's stuttering. Now the funny thing is, when I started making content, that's pretty much when, and at that's pretty much when people restarted telling me, because at that point I was speaking Romanian because I was working with a lot of Romanians. When I speak in English, I speak fast, and this is also super cool because this is a huge part of why I speak fast. This is a huge part of why it's so fast. So at first, my first language is French, right? So when I speak French, I used to talk very fast. And my second language was English. So when I started speaking English, my brain had to filter. I think it's important to understand why we speak fast, because my brain thinks fast, and I don't have a filter, so it's directly brain mouth, right? Why do I seem to be speaking even faster? Because it takes more time to get information, analyze it, understand it than it takes to do that, right? Yeah. So for the last 4 years of making content, we've been talking in English. And in my life, I know it's gonna be hard to believe, but I've never talked in another language than my first language for more than a couple of. As you understand, you usually speak your first language, but then with you guys, I was speaking English, and I just became very comfortable with English. So because I became very comfortable with English, well, my whole speech was better or worse because it became automatic. I didn't have to think about translation. I used to think in French, now I can think in English also, So yeah. But then, so why don't I make an effort to speak slower? Well, I know it's hard to believe, but I do make effort. There's gonna be some days where it's worse than others. There's gonna be some days where I speak slower, sometimes I speak faster, right? Now this is a direct, directly implied with ADHD. There's some good days and some bad days. There's days where I cannot focus. There's days where I can focus. When I can't focus, I'm physically, mentally and emotionally making effort to keep me in check. So, for example, a sort of that's a good song. A sort of effort to be calmer, right? To be nicer, to not be a victim or a slave to my emotions, right? And then there's another part of me that's like, okay, well, guess what? Today you have a good ADHD day where you can focus. We're gonna be focusing on staying calm, having conversation with people. You're gonna be kind of focusing on what you're saying. So instead of doing A, B, C, D, or actively going back and forth between subject, which we tend to do with a side tangent. Today's about ADHD, by the way. So if you think that I'm talking too fast, I'm physically trying. My neighbor. So yeah, so we're actually trying today. So you see, depending on the day, depending on my capacity to focus on that day, on any given day, actually, it's gonna affect my speech, of course. The whole thing in itself was kind of nice because, you know, you made the conscious effort and then you kind of give up and then no, I want to talk. I'm gonna make an active effort also. But at the same time, I realized that yes, I speak too fast. Can I change it? Possibly. There's just this fear that I can't change it every single time, right? It cost me a lot. It cost me a job application. It cost me some job interviews. It cost me some girlfriends, actually. It cost me some friends because I was getting mad at them for like, yo, actively not. My parents are getting older. They have hearing issues. And we're back at a point where they're making me repeat and repeat and repeat. And I'm like, dude, even if I was talking too fast, I've been talking to you fast for 22 years, right? A point where you're like, okay, well, my son talks fast, right? Then acceptance has to go. But then the ultimate acceptance came from my part because I understood the biggest and most important thing. The biggest and most important thing was that I'm not talking. And this is going to sound crazy, right? This is going to be a crazy concept, trust me. I am not talking to be understood. I know, let's repeat that. I am not talking to be understood. When I'm talking to someone, I don't have the presumption that they'll understand me. I don't have the presumption that everything I'm gonna say is gonna be clear, right? I don't have the presumption that, yo, I'm this god at speech and I can get my point across in every single places. I was watching a Jordan Peterson video today, and today, by the way, even though it was a bad ADHD day, we had some victories. For example, what does it mean a bad ADHD day? It's kind of foggy. So you'll have a problem staying in place. It will be foggy, so you're like, okay, well, think about a boat. I'm Aquarius right now, my whole life. And you think about a boat, right? And think about a boat that's in the fog, right? It's a hard thing to keep the cap, which is the same direction. It's a very hard thing. Versus when you have a radar, and the radar is allowing you to do this, right? Where was the victory today? That's a good question. I had a neighbor that is very nosy, I guess, and she's super nice. She's like, hey, are you going to work? I'm like, no. And usually just to, it's like the same question as, are you doing okay? You say yes. And now I'm trying to lose weight. Like, oh, I'm proud of you. I don't know her, but she said proud of you, so I'm like, wow, you know. Another victory. I was talking about energy for when I was doing the bike ride, and I was talking about Albert Einstein, EMC2, and for some reason it just came to me, and it actually makes sense. Today we were listening to the government. We got a governmental call today. The governmental call today was complex because it was a lot of information. Usually during a bad ADHD day, I'm like, okay, I have to write it down. But then she said something, and I was like, okay, well, I know what you mean. That's kind of cool. And lastly, we listened to some Jordan Peterson, which is, again, one of the smartest person alive, I believe, personally. And it was just about making the valiant effort to focus yourself, right? Those are the victories. So coming back to the subject, which is going to be, there's a reason why we talk about this, right? When I talk, I don't need to be understood. If you understand me, awesome. But I don't get a feeling of, see, for fixing the speech pattern, I have to cure my ADHD. I have to get it under control. You want to know how? Tomorrow, I only have to do one thing, and I'll speak slow. Take medication. Am I gonna take medication now? Fuck medication. Fuck medication. It was forced upon me when I was younger. I'm not gonna do that again. No way, Jose. So yeah, this is the reason. Again, when I'm talking to someone, right? For example, when I'm talking to a video, I'm technically talking to no one. I know there's a person out that's gonna watch it, but I don't know who watches it. You know? So because I don't know who's watching it, then I don't know the reaction, or I don't know if they're understood. But I don't get a satisfaction. See, when I do a video, I get the satisfaction of communication, of communicating. Like I had a TikTok today, a TikTok question. But they asked me, hey, what is the gibberish we talk in the beginning? When I make my intro, which is don't blink, it's your boy Ink. And the guy said, literally, what is that gibberish? So when you say what's that gibberish, there's a presumption that it's negative, right? So I don't feel like making a video about that. But at the same time, it's presumption, right? Maybe you're asking me in a nice way and you just don't know how. Just like I don't know how to talk, right? So it's complex, but not that much. It's complex, but not that much in the sense of see, when I thought I make videos, it's for socializing, right? And I want to socialize, right? And I think it's a need for that. Or as an ADHD, it's funny because we talking about that when I was doing the bike. When I was younger, my father was like, every single day, you're gonna do some bike, go bike for 2-3 hours. And at first I was like, okay, well, he wants me to be a sports guy. He wants me to be out there, right? But I think in reality, he was like, okay, well, go spend some energy. And when you go spend energy, you're gonna be calmer, right? Or imagine yourself, right? You spend a day without communicating, without reading the news, without going to social media. Imagine a day. You're gonna feel lonely. 2 days, you're gonna feel even more lonely. So when I come on here and I talk to you guys, it's like talking to myself, but it's a different person. And this is why this is brilliant. Talking to a camera, talking about Ink Vendetta, which is me, but the real person is Stefan. My real name is Stefan. When I see myself in the camera, I don't think about Ink Vendetta, I think about Stefan. So Ink is stuck into Stefan, right? Which is kind of cool. So yeah. Am I ever gonna speak slowly? Possibly not. Possibly not. Right? And of course, there's time where it has hindered me in the past, and hinder me in the future. It's gonna be something I'm gonna be able to fix now. So by living with that, there it is. See, when I was younger and I used to forget stuff, my father was like, well, if it's important, you'll remember, right? If it's important, you'll remember it. If it's not important, you'll forget about it. Maybe, just maybe. If I had something important to say, I would make the effort. Right? And it's also psychological. When you talk to someone, you don't want to force them to have a conversation with you, right? You don't want to force them to understand you. So by changing my speech pattern, right, I'm forcing myself to talk to you, right? Because it's harder. Now, ultimately speaking, just like English, is gonna be something that's gonna become automatic. But yeah, even when I, and this is actually a crazy story. I think it was. That's about my first year at the work that I had. And at first they're like, yo, you're talking fast. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make an effort, right? I started to work there in June 2018. From June 2018 to Christmas, or the Christmas vacation, the holidays, I made the valiant effort to change my pattern of speech, right? And then when I came back from vacation, you say, "Oh, what happened? You're talking fast again." Like, okay, that's weird. Next year, the same thing. When I'm watching content, I'm watching at 2 times the speed. So maybe that doesn't help. That's pretty much it. So, listen, I understand I speak fast. I don't do it on purpose. It's not an excuse, but I don't do it on purpose. Okay. If you understood me, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you don't understand me, what I'm saying right now is possibly not important, so it's not a big deal. Focus on yourself. Focus on your life, and everything will fall in pieces. Anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. You say fall in pieces or you say fall in place? You guys say fall in place, right? Yeah, you say fall in place. That made more sense. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.